Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, whoever you might be. Sorry about that picture. Somehow it got knocked over. Anyway, I want to tell you good morning. We've had a major earthquake in Morocco, in northern Africa. This was a major earthquake. It came out as a 6.8 with dozens and dozens of aftershocks by now. It happened at 11 p.m. last night. This is not a good thing at all. I'm telling you, it's not a good thing at all. There's major damage all over Morocco. Literally. Building collapses, partial building collapses, cars damaged, roadways impassable. You can't make this up. You can't make it up. The helioplots that we have taken a look at now show more than just a 6.8 earthquake. You can never trust what the USGS say these earthquakes are. As you can see right here, the earthquake itself is off the chart, completely off the chart. 1/3 of the helioplot here is in business here. It's not blacked out, but it is in business. Notice how many lines, horizontal lines, are here after the major trembler. There's 13 lines here. This was as of about an hour ago. 13 separate lines. This indicates at least a 7.7 to an 8.0 earthquake. A 7.7 to an 8.0 earthquake. And it's not just this one here. Okay? I've gone literally all over the world to pull this information. This is a seismograph or a helioplot from Kiev, Ukraine. Look at this. The same information applies. Okay? There were a lot of foreshocks, even a 6.0 foreshock. Then it continued to happen. It eventually got up to at least a 7.7 by all of these estimates here on the helioplots. You can't make it up. The data shows it. The data here shows this. Okay? The next one I'm going to take you to is a helioplot over in Finland. Kivo, Finland here. Look at this. The same thing here. This was a major earthquake with major shaking and damage. People have been displaced here in Morocco and all over that area. It was felt in the capital of Morocco, 200 miles away. For having come out as a 6.8, 6.9, there's no way. We know the agency does not give a flying rat's butt about what they do here. A lot of damage, and I'm going to show you only several pictures of the damage here. There is a ton of damage. Notice these cinder block here. These cinder block fell on top of a car from the side of a building. The cinder block intact, meaning the wave, the seismic wave was doing this. And those cinder block let loose from the wall as the wall was doing this, back and forth motion. And the cinder block landed on the car. You notice the rubble off to the side of the car as well. There's a lot of this going on. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Last night, people were staying outside and sleeping outside on the ground. Folks, these people are going to need help. Yes, the Red Cross will be there. I know they always are. But they're going to need an extreme amount of help. Pretty soon it's going to get colder and colder. Some of these people are wearing long sleeve shirts and jackets. You notice the Catholic priest over on the left-hand side of the picture here. The Catholic priest was out there not just because he needed to be out there to counsel people, but he was probably also displaced. Incredible damage. Look at this. Complete walls sheared off. Traffic at a standstill. No one can get through here, and no one will. Incredible rubble piles. Look at this. This was the afterwards, or the remnants of a stairwell. The stairwell in the building collapsed, and there was no more stairwell. People are buried in the ruins here as well. Buried, gone, no longer existing. An entire family was buried in the rubble of their home. An entire family was buried in the rubble of their home. I'm going to show you a series of pictures here. This is damage to an old mosque. It fell. This mosque had been around since the 1700s. A family trapped in the rubble of their home. 4 people. Rescuers are trying to dig out through the rubble to find survivors. This is going to be an ongoing project, and it's probably going to take weeks, if not months. The search for survivors is ongoing. I spoke to a first responder there in Morocco. He told me the following information. A strong 6.8 earthquake hit, and it's not a 6.8, it's at least a 7.7 to an 8.0. Okay? It struck Morocco at approximately 11 p.m. last night. The earthquake has now killed at least 1,000 people, causing damage throughout the area of Morocco. The epicenter was in the high Atlas Mountains. Let me show you this picture here. Hold on, that wasn't the picture I wanted to show you. This is the one I want to show you right here. The epicenter was high in the Atlas Mountains. It was at a depth of 8.5 kilometers deep. Well, this was a shallow quake. The shallow quake is the reason for so much damage. If this had been a deep quake, there probably would not have been as much damage. But shallow, strong quakes end up with this kind of damage. There are some people that are saying this was a plate rupture. I do not think this is a plate rupture. It's not deep enough. This is a very shallow quake. There are over 1,037 people dead now. At least 1,200 people have been injured. The earthquake happened in a remote area and was felt 200 miles away in the capital of Morocco. The Interior Ministry said this morning that the earthquake killed a lot of people in the provinces and the municipalities. Many people spent the night out in the open, as the Moroccan government had warned them not to go back into their homes in case of severe aftershocks, and already there's been close to 100 aftershocks. Hospitals in Marrakesh have seen an influx of injured people. The authorities have called on the residents to donate blood. There are reports of entire families trapped under the rubble of their homes in the city, and damage to parts of the Medina, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Some buildings have collapsed. Several clips that I have seen show buildings crashing down. It's not a pleasant sight to see buildings crashing down in front of you. Dust could also be seen surrounding the minaret of the historic mosque in Marrakesh, a major tourist attraction near the old city's main square. One man described a feeling of a violent tremor, seeing the buildings move. Abdelhak El Amrani, I'm hoping to get this man on the air within the next 24 or so hours. He said, people are all in shock and panic. The children are crying, and the parents are distraught. Amrani said that power and phone lines were down for about 10 minutes, and then some power and telephone lines did not come back up. Marrakesh resident Faisal Badour said that he had been driving when the earthquake hit. He said, I immediately stopped. The ground was shaking, my car was shaking, and I realized what a disaster was. The screaming and crying are unbearable. As I said before, the quake's epicenter is in a remote area high in the high Atlas Mountains. It was a relatively shallow quake, and that's why you're seeing so much damage. The tremors are also reportedly felt in the capital of Rabat, some 350 kilometers away, 200 miles away, as well as in Casablanca, Essaouira. Simple buildings in mountain villages near the epicenter may not have survived. And being remote, it may take time to determine casualties in those remote areas in the mountains. British journalist that I also spoke to about an hour ago, who lives in Morocco, was awoken by the sound of screams. He said there was this weird evening of almost every single town in Morocco. Most people are sitting on the ground outside their houses or apartments because they are afraid of a second earthquake, which they predicted would come 2 hours later. Thank God it didn't. The quake was also felt in neighboring Algeria, but officials said it did not cause any severe damage or casualties in Algeria. Speaking at the G20 summit in Delhi, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the international community would come to Morocco's aid. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez offered solidarity and support to the people of Morocco. French President Emmanuel Macron said he was devastated by the news and offered assistance to Morocco. I have not yet heard anything from the President of the United States. But as you can see by what I've shown you and what I've told you, things are not good at all in Morocco. I may be coming back on this evening to give you an update of what is happening in Morocco. This is not a good day for Morocco. This is not a good day at all, given the situation that we see here. This is not a good day at all. Folks, if there's anything that I can say, is thank God for your health. Thank God for all that you have. This is just one more disaster that has happened. We have been talking about earthquakes in the area east of the Strait of Gibraltar for weeks, even months. Months ago we had a 5.5 over there just east of the Strait of Gibraltar on probably the same fault system where this earthquake hit in Morocco. In the days and hours coming, we're going to be showing you images similar to this. I hope to have some interviews forthcoming from people on scene. Brothers and sisters, pray for the people in Morocco. They need our help. They deserve our help. Does anybody have any questions for me in regards to this earthquake or anything else that we've been talking about? Traveler said, I lived there as a teenage military brat. Yeah. I never lived outside the United States with my parents, but I traveled to Europe and Scandinavia. I've been in Canada and I've been in Mexico. Canada, it was just like traveling through the United States. Mexico was a third world. Any other questions here? Mary McHenry says, thank you very much for all you do, Ron. Praying for all that are in harm's way around the world, as we all are. We will be in prayer for all of these people in the coming hours and days. This is not going to be over anytime soon. When disasters like this happen, it is usually months and sometimes years before things come back. Again, we will be here possibly later this evening or at least tomorrow to give you an update about the major earthquake in Morocco. Like I said, I showed you those Hilly plots earlier, and it shows that this was not a 6.8, 6.9 like they said it was. This is by far a 7.7 to 8.0 major earthquake in Morocco, happening at 11 p.m. out in Morocco last night. God bless us all. God bless those people in Morocco. It is daylight there, but things are not going to be very good. The death numbers are going to spiral. The people injured are going to spiral as well. God bless them. God bless us. God bless everyone, including in the United States of America and Canada. God be with you. God be with you until we meet again. We shall see you on the other side. Have a great night and a great day. See you around the corner. Just a second, guys. Sorry about that.